Hey guys, welcome to Sketch Day. I'm Spencer, where every day I give you something new and exciting and hopefully interesting about how to draw, sketch, and see the world around you. And today I'd like to focus on just a simple sketch of a shoe. I know I do a few shoes here on the channel, but wanted to take a look at a basketball shoe and kind of show you the proportion and technique in sketching something out. And this is something you can use if you want to design your own shoe or sketch something like a classic Air Jordan 1, that kind of thing. You can take some of these proportional cues and apply them to your sketches. So if you've got pen, pencil, paper, whatever you have, feel free to grab it and join right in. So let's get started. So whenever I'm designing a shoe, I like to start with a simple ground line. And so I'm using a Prismacolor pencil here, kind of a short one. And with this line that I've drawn across the page, I can then start to hint at the bottom of my shoe. So I typically start with the bottom, okay? A little bit kicked up in the back, a little bit kicked up in the front. And so once I have kind of this proportion, there's really no measurement for this. This is just essentially how long your shoe is going to be on your page. But you can see, it looks like roughly a third of the way in, I've kind of curled the toe up, and about a fifth of the way on the back, I've curled that up as well. So now I like to draw kind of a straight line in the front, like so, pretty much 90 degrees to that line or that angle. And in the back, kind of the same thing, but I'm going to extend that up a little bit higher. So now the next thing to do is kind of at this low angle and a little bit of a break right there, where you'd kind of have a break in the shoe. So this is about, looking at it, about a third of the way in and where this kick happens. I've got this break. And once I get to the top of my tongue, so it really depends on how high your shoe is, if it's going to be high rise, mid, or kind of a lower basketball shoe. I'm going to go for something a little higher. So now I'm going to take this line and just kind of cut it back at an angle, like so. And I can continue to kind of sculpt this in. So this gives me the first part of my drawing, which is my base form. And it takes a lot of practice to do this. In fact, one of the best things you can do is look at a lot of pictures, try and draw those, and develop some muscle and mental memory about how to approach designing a shoe. And that way you'll ensure continued success as you try to nail the proportion. It's just like if you're trying to draw people, you've got to practice drawing those people so that you can get better at doing that thing. So now for the tooling of the shoe, or the outsole, what I'm going to do is kind of a nice curved line like so. And by tooling, I mean this is where rubber meets the floor, so to speak, okay? So you can take some liberties with this. So in the front here, okay, I'm showing that this tooling is kind of wrapping on the toe. And what I may do is right where this flex is happening, or going to happen, kind of reinforce right there, and perhaps even on my heel area, okay? Because when you're playing basketball, you're going to want to do some side-to-side moves. So maybe I've got a nice little reinforcement there. And I can kind of sketch that in, and just to match the design, kind of carry that detail through. Now I need to kind of sketch in where the tongue, okay, and my eye stays are going to be. So here I've got my tongue kind of sketched in like so. I'm going to drop this down, and I'm going to do a small return like so, okay? So this is where my padded kind of collar comes in on my shoe. And on the back, I'm going to round that down like so. And let's say, for argument's sake, the shoe has some sort of cushioning technology. We can sketch that into the side here as well. Now, one of the things with shoe design, or design in general, is you want to try and be harmonious with what you're doing. So as I have this stabilizing element in the tooling on the bottom, right where I have this kind of cushioning or support element that I'm designing in, I'm trying to make that be a simple shape that kind of carries through, okay? Same with this little detail up front here. So I've got these shapes that relate to each other and play nicely with each other, okay? So on the actual eye stay, which is this part here where my laces will go, I'm just going to rough in some laces. We'll keep this nice and loose today for the sake of time. So I'm just going to kind of hint at some laces like that, okay? So something like that on the shoe. This is just a quick concept. I kind of did this zigzag, but I'm going to pull this down for where my upper kind of meets the tooling right here. I've got another line coming through like so. And let's throw some padding on this collar. Okay, so this line that I've kind of sketched and shaded in, that's me saying, hey, there's a little shadowed area there. So if I were to do a contour line, for example, on this boot, it might look something like that. Okay, so where I've got that kind of returning on itself. Now we've kind of got this shape going on, kind of something like this on our shoe right here. So let's say we work that in to our upper, kind of cut that in, okay, and maybe we can do the opposite here. So we still have our padded collar, but just taking that shape and having that worked into our design will help us create a more harmonious design. My apologies if you're listening to this and you heard some background noise. That was my heater. My apologies, but hopefully the rest of the audio is good on this video and the content works for you. Toward the front of this shoe, okay, I'm gonna take this line, okay, this implied line, carry that through to the front of my shoe like so. Okay, and let's go ahead and put some flex grooves in the front here and maybe some grip or traction toward the back. Okay, so there's my simple pencil sketch of this basketball shoe. And to kind of bring things to life, I'm going to use this brush pen. So it's okay to mix media as you're sketching. You know, just because you start with a pencil doesn't mean you have to finish with a pencil. It's kind of nice to work light till you get it right. I'm using a Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Brush Pen. That's what I'm using. And I like them because they're kind of expressive, but at the same time I can get some nice variation in my line weight as I'm sketching with these pens. So bringing out things like this little cushioning detail in the back, like so. We won't fully render this today. I just wanted to show you kind of the sketch technique here. But you can see now I'm starting to bring out some of those details in my design in this side view. And just to carry that theme through, because I'm working with a pen, I can now come in, right, and get things in that I may not have included in my original sketch, or even do things like change or fix the way the laces work. So something like that. Okay, let's get a nice outline here. Nice and thick. And I'm working really lightly with the pen, meaning I'm not being too heavy-handed on the paper with the pen, or marker rather. Okay, so this detail here, I've got a little cutout, sketch that in, and we've got our cutout on the upper here, where we've got some breathing, or for breathing rather, and there's the ground. So that's how I typically approach something like a basketball shoe sketch. You can see the line weight, line work is bringing that design out, whereas we had it on pencil before. But just in the same way that we kind of left the pencil behind, went to pen, I can also jump back to the pencil if I wanted to add some value in, for example, on this tongue area. I can shade that in. These areas where we need to breathe, I can add some shading, as well as on the top of my shoe here and around the bottom. You can add a little bit of shading in, like so, to kind of reinforce the form. Okay, so this is just one of my ways I like to work. Pencil, marker, and kind of go back and forth, or pencil pen rather, with some shading, and that's going to help bring the form out. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you were able to learn something. I can already see myself in doing this video that I would actually tweak some of the proportionality of the shoe. So, for example, taking this and moving it a little bit further in, right here, I think that would help this feel a bit better. But most important thing is to have fun, make sure you practice, and make sure you keep your eyes open. Observe things around you. If you're trying to get into shoe design or shoe sketching, take a look at sketches that other people have done, take a look at designs that other people have done, see what works, and see how you can work that into your own designs. Thanks again. If you want to find me, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/sketchaday. You can also find me on Instagram at sketchaday.com. I do have a Patreon page now. Really exciting stuff. And Patreon is kind of like Kickstarter for creative people who are doing amazing and interesting things. And I'm blown away by the support that we have here on the YouTube channel. And I'd like to encourage you to check it out at patreon.com/sketchaday. And if you feel inclined to donate or contribute to the cause, we have some wonderful rewards that are listed on the page. And I'd love to get to the point where I can make those dreams a reality, which would in turn mean much better content and a much better experience for you guys. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time right here on Sketchaday.